Hey everybody, welcome back to the Music Guide. This is episode 7. This is my first time ever doing a screen capture, which is fun. The reason I'm doing it is because I want to do a little rundown of my top 5 favorite free VST plugins. Just to show you guys that you can make some awesome stuff for no money at all. These are the ones that I use the most. And I do use them on my actual tracks that I release. And they're going to be a mixture of compressors, reverbs, and EQs. So let's just start with the first one. The first one we got here is something I would typically use on drums. I'm going to be using a vocal track here. I'll show you it now. Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all. It's just me singing. So this is not really made to go on to go into a vocal, mainly because you don't have the control. It is pretty harsh as a compressor. It's called Pulsar Smash. It's based on an old Pultec. It's a Pultec emulation, but it works really well. I like it a lot. This I will link all the stuff in the description, by the way, but this is the Pulsar Smash. But it's based on a FET compressor. But all you got here is your inputs, your output, and your mix. This is a fixed threshold compressor, so you can't change the threshold of this. All you can do is when you adjust the input, it literally says right there, the input gain controls the amount of saturation and compression that goes into your song. And then this here mix knob allows you to basically mix between the dry unprocessed signal with the compressed signal, basically it's parallel compression, and then the output is like your makeup gain. But it's simple, it's easy to use. I would use this mainly on drums. This is what I put this on. I put this on my mix bus for drums. But you can use it on anything technically, as long as it's used right and you don't destroy the dynamics of whatever you're doing, or you don't make it thump a little bit too much. And this thing can thump. But I'll let you listen to it and see what you think. Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all my friends. Can't learn much from the modern man. Can you take me back to last year's trend? Staying up till 6 a.m. Got a broken head. So you can definitely tell it's doing something. It's moving the VU meter here, and it kind of spikes up, and there's a plosive in there. But yeah, like I said, you can't really adjust anything other than the input, the output, and the mix, which means that I think, from what I can tell, from what I can hear, this is kind of a pretty fast attack. So you can actually adjust and make it a bit slower, make it a bit more seamless. So when you get to those plosives and stuff, it kind of hits you pretty hard. And that's why I like it for mix bus compression. It doesn't let those transients get through as much, and it kind of just levels everything out and glues it together a little bit. So I wouldn't use this on like a snare drum itself, because I like to be able to control the transients and stuff a little bit, use it kind of like a transient shaper in a way. But yeah, this works great for mix bus compression. I would put it on a mix bus, but I don't have a full mix here. There's no point. But I will show you at some point all this here stuff in a real mix, because I will probably someday do a full on mix how-to that'll be multiple parts long and all that crap. But that's that one. It's great. I like that one. This next one is actually a reverb. This is probably the one that everyone likes to hear, because reverbs can actually make a big difference. Like a lot of compressors, especially the free compressors and EQs, a lot of them do the very similar things. They just have slight tonal differences. These here, they actually have there's a big difference between different free reverbs. This one itself is actually the Convolugy XT. This is a free convolution reverb. Convolution is basically based on real spaces rather than algorithmic. Like the one I'm about to show you as well, the Tal reverb, there is also algorithmic. This one is convolution, and convolution can be a lot more real, can be a lot more it sounds like you're more in the space. I love that. I use this here a lot on my more natural tracks. I do a lot of acoustic tracks, and this one I use a lot more than that. But here, this is what it sounds like. Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all my friends. Can't learn much from the modern man. Can you take me back to last year's trend? Staying up till 6 a.m. So yeah, it's that one's kind of a long reverb. It's actually a plate, Bright Hall. So yeah, it's one of the presets, and then I've adjusted a few things here and there. But yeah, you can adjust quite a few settings. You have modulation here, which I turned off. I don't like that much modulation in my reverb. In this case, I didn't like any. Then you got the scale, you got the decay and the stretch. Then you got the pre-delay. I've set that to just 0 when it's drums or something like that. There, I usually put it a bit higher, but well, yeah, it's grand. And then the mix, so just how much wet versus dry. Stereo width. If you want a big massive reverb, you switch that up, and then the output of the entire thing, the master output. And then you've just got like time of like attack and everything like that there. It just gives you a good view of that. But yeah, this is just an EQ. It allows you to EQ the reverb itself. It doesn't actually affect the main track. And then this here is actually like an image of what it's actually meant to look like, if it was like real hardware, that is. But yeah, I love this thing. It's very natural, very clear, and it's just a bit of a different dynamic. I'm usually using other algorithmic reverbs, excuse me, but this one is pretty nice. I have a few other ones, but this here chronology is pretty awesome, and it's a great free option. The next one here is actually a compressor. This is my number 3. This is by Analog Obsession. I actually have 2 things here from Analog Obsession. I'll show you that one. This is actually, one of them is actually my number 1. But yeah, this is actually a leveling amplifier. It's called a Lala. Pretty fun name. They actually have some pretty awesome names for these things too. But similar to the Pulsar Smash, this doesn't really have that many options for threshold, attack, and release. It does give you some gain reduction, like peak reduction, sorry, and then it gives you the output gain and the mix like before. But it also gives you some side chaining options, and then it lets you and then has like frequencies here for what is affected by that side chain. You got power, you got a limiter built in. Don't use that one too often. I just use a separate limiter, but yeah, it's actually quite kind of a nice clear compressor. I use this on my videos, like the one I'm doing right now. I would usually put this compressor on it, but it's just really nice. Again, not too many bells and whistles on it. It's just what you see in front of you, which is kind of cool. It means you don't have to spend too long trying to learn it. It's pretty much like any other version of these here. If you ever used real life hardware version of it, it's exactly the same. But it's pretty awesome. I'll let you see what that one sounds like. Is it dry? Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all my friends. Can't learn much from the modern man. Can you take me back to last year's trend? Staying up till 6 a.m. Got a broken head, don't know how to mend. Swimmer shoes made of premium. So there you go. It just adds a bit of also adds a bit of character too. These here are actually hardware emulations, so they will add a bit of analog saturation here and there, and just a few little tonal differences that don't really have as much to do with the compression as it does just having real hardware. So if you kind of want that real analog sound, you can get that. Although it doesn't really matter all that much. It's just on how detailed you actually want to be. So this next one, this is a big one. A lot of people use this. This is Tal Reverb 4. It's really good. It's just, I can't complain with it. It's simple, easy to use, easy user interface. If you're new to mixing, this is going to be great for you. Not as many options, but hey, it does what it says in the tin. I'll show you what that sounds like, and we'll just get right to it here. Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all my friends. Can't learn much from the modern man. Can you take me back to last year's trend? Staying. It just sounds good. That's simple as that. And there's just a few little options here to let you give you just about enough control to sort of have a nice sounding reverb for your mix, and that's it. And honestly, when you're just starting out, you don't really need much more. And like I said, it's easy to use, simple, looks semi decent, and yeah, you just can't go wrong. And like I said, it's free. You have nothing to lose, so highly recommend that one. And finally, my number one spot is actually, as like I said, it's actually going to be by another one by Analog Obsession. This is based on a Pultec EQ. I was able to use the warm audio variant of the hardware version of this, sort of what this is trying to emulate. Not that one specifically, it's trying to emulate the real thing, but I got to use a variant of this, and it actually does sound pretty damn similar. What I like about these is that although they're not transparent, they're not really meant to be. They do sound quite clear and pretty. They can actually add like a lot of nice air with the high end, and sort of I use this here a lot on bass as well to sort of just give it a bit more of a thump. Just give it a bit more. Give the bass just a bit more character and a bit more life. But here I'll let you see what this here sounds like.
Staying up till 6 a.m. Sleep is fighting me, fighting all my friends. Can't learn much from the modern man. Can you take me back to last year's trend? Staying up till 6 a.m.
So you can just hear that. It's a noticeable difference, but not to the point where it's distracting, and it adds a little bit of grit and all to it. Not a lot, but just a little bit. But it still sounds really sweet. So let me just explain what you get here. You got your boost, and you got your attenuation for your low frequencies, and you get to choose between 4 options: 20, 30, 60, and 100 hertz. And then you got your bandwidth in the middle. That just lets you control. This is for both of these guys, by the way. So you can't have like a broad bandwidth for your low end and then a sharp bandwidth for your high end. And also the sharp. When it says sharp, it's not super sharp. It'll not let you do some like micro adjustments, but yeah, it just gives you the option. And then the boost attenuation for the high end, and these are all in kilohertz, so 3 to 16 kilohertz in 7 steps. And then you just got your attenuation selection here. So I'm on 10 right now, just right in the middle. And then you got your output as well. You want to always match your output to your input when it comes to EQ, because when you make it louder, you don't really want to make it louder when it's not the plan to make it louder, if that makes sense. Like, EQ is not here to make anything louder all round. It's made to adjust the volume of different individual frequencies, like in itself, if you get what I'm saying. So like you're not here to like try and turn up the high end just to turn up the entire track. You want to turn up the high end to add a little bit of air, and then you want to turn it down to sort of match again. And then it just means you're not falling into that trap of when it sounds louder, it sounds better. So yeah, I did turn down the dB, by the way, for all of these here, just so you can try and get it, although some of the compressions do still have a bit of mismatch there. But yeah, this here guy right here, it's crazy that this thing is free. It's in fact, it's crazy that all these things are free. The options that we have these days are crazy, and there's no reason why you can't make awesome music right now. Like, it's unbelievable that people actually put this much work and dedication into something that you're going to get for nothing. So if there is an option to actually donate to any of these guys, I think there's an option to donate to Analog Obsession, and maybe Tal as well. But any of these, if you see, just donate a little bit at least, because these guys are making something awesome for you. So just so it can be a free thing for people to be able to use. So donate where you can and help these guys out so they can keep making some more awesome stuff. And yeah, just keep making great music. Hopefully this here helps you out and helps you explore more creative paths in that sense. But yeah, guys, if you want to say something, leave a comment. If you liked it, leave a like, and subscribe if you have the time. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.